Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this lovely day. My name is Jamie Graham Thomas. I'm a member of the worship committee, and I am delighted to be the worship assistant this morning on this kind of rainy, chilly day, which is the perfect time to bring us into worship and celebrate the beauty of this season. So please accept this time as a gift to center yourself as we welcome you with these words of Kimberly Ann Tomczak Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourselves. Inside, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to the possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home, welcome to worship. We especially want to welcome visitors and returning friends. Thank you for being with us for the next hour, and please stay after our service so that we may introduce ourselves, greet one another, get to know you, and spark a friendship during coffee and fellowship. Today's service is called Beauty Calls Us Together, and it will be delivered by UUG's own Reverend Cindy Terlazzo. And the flower communion service was created by Norbert Capek, who lived from 1870 to 1942. He founded the Unitarian Universalist Church of Czechoslovakia. And he introduced this special service to that church on June 4th, 1923. For some time, he had felt the need for some symbolic ritual that would bind people more closely together. And the format had to be one that would not alienate anyone who had forsaken other religious traditions. The traditional Christian communion service with bread and wine was unacceptable to the members of his congregation because of their strong relationship and reaction against the Catholic faith. So he turned to the native beauty of their countryside for elements of a communion that would be genuine to them. This simple service was the result, and it was such a success that was held yearly just before the summer recess of the church. So now join us together as we continue this beauty-filled tradition. Thank you all for being here with us. And if you have any flowers, any more flowers, please feel free to come up and bring them. Oh, yay, more flowers. I don't know if we have enough room on the groaning board here. Quite an incredible smorgasbord of flowers. Thank you, Ron. Again, what a delightful way to welcome in the spring time, and even with this rainy weather certainly makes the spring and the flowers burst forth. Moving forward, this is a delightful reading called Like the First Hint of Spring by Jennifer McLaughlin, and it brings forth our flower communion tradition in a lovely way. As the first hint of green begins to peek through the barren ground, as that little spring grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil, Let us be like that first hint of grain, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We come together to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space. And our prelude today is Blessing of the Flowers, and performed by our very own UUG choir.
Blessing of the flowers, blessing of the flowers, communion of the flowers, communion of the flowers, your gift to me, your gift to me, my gift to you, my gift to you. Blessed are the flowers, yes, gift to me, your gift to me, my gift to you. My gift to yours. Messengers of fellowship and love, reminders of community that grows.
Let us enter into worship with the words of Alice Berry. Children of the earth and sky, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below. Supported by earth's strong, firm crust, we build our homes, fill the fields, plant our gardens and our orchards. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, may we find holy light in human faces, in blossom, birdsong, and sky. Then earth is truly our home. May we be one with all of earth's creatures, parents of earth's children yet to be. Let us celebrate the beauty of this day as we enter into worship together.
Now is the time to light our chalice, and as we light this chalice, may we remember that within the heart of the flower, the fountain of beauty, within the heart of the community, a fire that warms and dances, within the heart of each of us, a spark of the spirit of life. Holy, holy, holy. Please join in the unison affirmation printed in your order of service, which also will be on the screen. May the light of this flame and the weight of our words inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to serve the spirit of life in loving affection and trusting hope. And I will introduce the song. Hymn number 305 in our gray hymnal, De Colores.
Verse 2 and verse 4 are the original Mexican folk song. So I'll go through and start with verse number 2. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí, y por eso Los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. And number 4 is de colores, sí, de blanco y negro y rojo y azul y castaño. Son colores de gente que ríe y estrecha la mano. Son colores de gente que sabe de la libertad. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all the flowers. All the colors, when the sunlight shines up through a rift in the clouds and it showers. All the colors, as the rainbow appears where the sunlight is touched by the sun. All the colors of love for the whole world around, for everyone under the sun. All the colors of love for the whole world around, for everyone under the sun. De colores existen los campos de la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de tierra. De colores es el arcoíris que queremos decir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. All the colors, yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors of people who smile and shake hands and say hello. All the colors, yes, the colors of people who know that their freedom is gone. All the colors of love for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors of love for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. De colores, sí, de blanco y negro y rojo y azul y castaño. Son colores de gente que ríe y te estrecha la mano. Son colores de gente que sabe de la libertad. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Our time for all ages this morning is another, a children's rendition of the story of the flower communion. And I know that that is what we're celebrating here today. We're celebrating spring, we're celebrating community, all the colors. And on the screen in just a moment will be a story of the flower communion that was created by the Foothills Unitarian Church.
Nearly 100 years ago, the Unitarian minister Norbert Capek offered his Czechoslovakian congregation a ritual to respond to their questions about how to be a community that welcomed rather than suppressed diversity. Czechoslovakia was a country formed in the aftermath of war. struggling just 5 years after the end of that war with questions of belonging and identity, trust and anxiety. Capek's ritual took the traditional bread and wine communion that his community was too heretical for and too resistant to these usual symbols and played with this ritual. He turned instead to the beauty of nature all around them and invited each of his congregants to find a flower and bring it to the church one Sunday. That each person would find the flower that was beautiful to them was a symbol of their affirmation that each of us has a piece of the truth, our unique sense of what beauty means. On their way into the church, his congregation was in turn invited, each of them, to place that flower in a vase, which symbolized their free choice to enter into community alongside all the other people that saw beauty in their own way, symbolized by their flowers placed there as well. A free church where people freely choose to walk together across their differences. Once everyone had gathered, they'd bring the vase forward. Then the minister, Capek, he would bless it. And then he'd invite everyone to choose a flower to take home with them, but just not the one that they came with. Again, this free choice affirmed each person's choice to be blessed by another and to receive with an open heart their different understandings of beauty and to feel connected rather than divided by this difference. In this moment where so many forces seek to divide people, to play on our fears of differences and our anxieties of the other, here we remember that we freely choose to walk together and to be blessed by the differences between us and to see these differences as beauty.
So we have a special treat this morning. We have Elliot, who is going to sing De Colores in Spanish, and her father's going to accompany her on guitar. So let's welcome Elliot.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vamos a lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina, cara, 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 cara. Los polluelos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores
me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
So it is now for these words by Kathy Ryan Starr as we enter into a time of prayer, meditation, reflection. Spirit of spring and new life, spirit of decay and earth, we turn to your wisdom and strength as we seek to live lives of meaning and love. The cycle of life is powerful. Everything that lives dies. Everything that dies has lived. The cycle is powerful. There is no escaping this cycle. What then can we learn from its power? The leaves that we put away in the fall are now compost, fertilizing the soil as we prepare to till yet again. That harbinger of spring, the crocus, brings such delight and lasts but for a moment, then it's gone, making way for the abundance of green and color that spring brings with it. When one who was beloved dies, we cry, we mourn, we lament, and we carry them in our hearts, seeking to live as they inspired us to live. As a child grows, we marvel at their unfolding into their own unique self. These lives that we live hold so much beauty and so much pain. And we, like each of our ancestors across the millennia, seek to live them fully. We seek love. We seek to appreciate beauty. We seek solace and healing. We seek to hold fast to the goodness of the core goodness of this world, and to amplify its abundance. We seek one another, for no one can do this living alone. Now, in the company of many, let us enter into this time together. May the silence that we shared together be a time that honors all which your heart seeks. We'll take just another moment to drink that in. And then hymn 123, Spirit of Life.
Like the beauty and diversity found in these flowers, today we seek the beauty and diversity of the human race during this part of our service. Today we are lifting up the voice of William Sinkford. The Reverend William Sinkford is a Unitarian Universalist minister who served as the seventh president of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations from 2001 to 2009. His installation as UUA president made him the first African American to lead this organization or any traditionally white religious denomination in the United States. And he says, in the presence of these flowers, these representations of creation's profound beauty, diverse and unique, but related and independent, these flowers which come to us as gifts from we know not where, and from which in turn choose to bring us our shared and common altar as gifts to one another. In their presence, we turn our thoughts to the mystery beyond mysteries, to the most sacred, which we never understand fully, but which we are granted relatively glimpses of each of these flowers, in each of your faces, and through relationships with neighbors, near and far. May they remind us of grace we have known in days past, forgiveness we have been granted and provided, love unearned and shared, recovery begun and established, generosity unforeseen and most sacred. And may they inspire us now, in days to come, to seek, to notice, to embrace, and to recreate this beauty, to give unto the world as exuberantly as these flowers give us. Our next musical selection is hymn number 63 in the gray hymnal, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers. So please rise in body or spirit.
I think you've all gotten the point by now that this flower communion service has become a beloved annual ritual. It happens in many UU communities, and it certainly has become a treasured tradition here at UUG. Today, I've borrowed much of this homily from some colleagues, Reverend Carol Martaganko and Reginald Zottoli. So I'm going to start now with the words of Reverend Carol. It's said of the Buddha that one day, as his followers gathered to hear him preach, he rose and faced them wordlessly, holding forth a lotus blossom. In utter silence, they waited for him to speak, as he simply stood, holding the flower, letting the blossom speak for itself and to them in its own language. After a while, the message of beauty penetrated the minds of his listeners, and they heard the flower sermon and were blessed. You know, we've probably all had the experience of walking through a park or down a street, and suddenly we find ourselves in the presence of a field of flowers, or maybe you're driving along and you see a field covered in sunflowers. Perhaps you turn a corner and a garden is laid out before you like a banquet of color and form, and you are refreshed, dazzled, and somehow, by the sheer extravagance of beauty, you feel uplifted, your spirit renewed. That's what happened to Norbert Capek in Czechoslovakia. One morning in the early 20th century, he was walking through a local park in Prague. He was thinking about his Sunday service coming up, and he was wondering what could he say to his people to bring them hope in a time of great challenge. The whole of Europe was at war. This was during the First World War. And his people had seen unspeakable losses, deaths of loved ones, soldiers gone missing. On the home front, there was poverty, food rationing, and scarcity. Capek was a humanist Unitarian congregation, his congregation was, so the usual form of communion with bread and wine wouldn't be something that would speak to them. Yet something of that nature was needed, something to symbolize the solidarity and the mutual love and support of his community, what they held for one another. You know, as he was thinking about this, he turned a corner and came upon a lovely garden of blossoming flowers, and the colors were so abundant, it took his breath away. As he stood there absorbing this natural beauty, he thought, yes, my people are like these blossoms. And the rest, they say, is history. Capek went back to his study and designed the first flower communion for his Czech Unitarians. And the idea spread. His wife, Majid, who was also a Unitarian minister, brought it to North America in 1940. And it spread like wildflowers. Yeah, right? Now celebrated annually in UU churches all across the globe for various occasions and all seasons of the year. So we're going to shift now to some words by Reginald Zottoli. The Unitarian Universalist Flower Communion service, which we're about to take part in, was originated, as we've said many times today, by Norbert Capek. And he was the founder of the Unitarian movement in Czechoslovakia. The last Sunday before the summer recess of that church in Prague, all the children and adults participated in this colorful ritual. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Capek's gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every person to be, as Nazi court records show, too dangerous to the Reich for him to be allowed to live. Dr. Capek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year during a Nazi medical experiment. This gentle man suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives on through his flower communion. It's a noble and meaning-filled ritual that we are about to recreate. Whenever Dr. Capek conducted his flower communion in Prague, he would say this proverb as he consecrated the flowers. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessings on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. So now we are going to take part in this flower communion. And I'm going to ask that as you each in turn approach this heavily laden table of beauty, you do so quietly. You do it with a sense of reverence and a sense of how important it is for each of us to address our world and one another with gentleness, justice, and love. Select a flower different than the one that you brought, one that particularly appeals to you. And as you take the chosen flower, take the time to really look at it, to note its particular shape, the beauty, perhaps the fragrance. Handle it carefully. It's a gift that someone else brought. It represents that person's unique humanity and deserves your kindest touch. So let us now share quietly in this Unitarian Universalist ritual of oneness and love. And Florence, would you be able to play a little just ambient music? And please begin. To our friends who are joining us by home today, take some time and see if you can perhaps walk outside and pick a flower for yourself. If you're not able to get outside, maybe you can pull up some images of flowers on your screen and just take some time to take in their beauty. And before I give Dr. Capek's flower communion prayer, take a moment and look at the flower in front of you. If you haven't already, just really appreciate its color, its fragrance, the shape, just the marvel, this abundance of beauty that we are graced with. And then look around this room and look at the abundance of beauty that we are graced with in each of these marvelous faces here, with all of our worries, with all of our cares, with all of our struggles, the ways we can celebrate together, with the issues that we have yet to resolve between one another. Look at the beauty in this room. And I invite you to carry that with you as you leave this room today. So, this is Dr. Capek's Flower Communion Prayer. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree, and in the hearts of all humans the longing for people to live in love. In the name of the highest in whom we move and who makes the Mother, the Father, the fullness of all, the siblings, what we are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice and created all kinds of sounds for our ears. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be true kindred spirits, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from one another. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, that one spirit, the spirit of love, does unite us despite everything. It unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life. And may it be so. Timing is really it, right? That is one of my least favorite sounds, but boy, it gave us a nice dose of laughter. And I can feel that gift resonating in my body. Just before he was put to death in Dachau, Dr. Capek wrote this prayer reflecting on his own life and the state of his spirit. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul, you'll never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight, and everything would worthless seem, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul, my life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious. May you carry this same sense of recognition how valuable your life is, how valuable the work you do in this world is, and don't doubt for a moment how important what you are doing in this human form is. Our closing music is a song, Now I Walk in Beauty, performed by the San Fernando Youth Choir. It'll be on the screen in just a moment.
Now I walk in beauty, beauty is before me, beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I walk in beauty, beauty is before me, beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I walk in beauty, beauty is before me, beauty is behind me,
Please join in our unison response as we extinguish this chalice. It's printed in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. And now our closing ritual is very special every week, and especially this week, because we don't have enough room to join our hands in a circle. So let's snake around and just be together and sing Safe Passage.
May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. Safe passage on your way. Safe passage on your way, dear brother. Safe passage on your way, dear sister. Safe passage on your way, sweet children. Safe passage on your way. May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. Safe passage on your way. Safe passage on your way, dear brother. Safe passage on your way, dear sister. Safe passage on your way, sweet children. Safe passage on your way. May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. May you have safe passage. Safe passage on your way.